Welcome to Swaggerslifestyle.
Hello. Do you know that the first human to go to space was a Russian, Yuri Gagarin? A clock in St. Petersburg marked the exact moment Russia became a communist. The statue of the tallest woman in the world, the motherland calls, is located in Volgograd in Russia. The statue is 85 meters, 279 feet. Welcome to another illuminating episode of a Nigerian Living In series. Today, we are taking a trip to a country home to thick forest, vast plains, the highest mountain in Europe, Mount Elbrus, and the deepest lake in the world, Lake Baikal. We will be visiting Russia. I will be speaking with a content creator, tech expert, and YouTuber, Dr. Iwan O. He creates content about his life's journey and experience living in Russia. I will let him introduce himself. Can we meet you?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Iwan O, and I'm from Nigeria, and I'm a doctor, YouTuber, videographer.
Thank you so much for honoring our invite and coming on the show today. So let's go straight to our conversation. How did you relocate to Russia? How many years have you spent in Russia? Why Russia? And how were you able to settle down?
All right, so I came to Russia to study medicine here in 2018, and so far, all my life, or throughout this time, I've stayed in Russia for like the past 7 years. So I've been here since 2018. And the reason why I chose Russia was because to study medicine, Russia actually had the best value for money in terms of, you understand, like it was the most affordable for the kind of education I was going to get compared to America, because America was about like $20,000 minimum. So my parents had to go for the best option that will not, you understand, hurt the bank.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, but how did you settle down? Because, going from an English-speaking country to Russia, like the almighty Russia. So, how were you able to settle down when you moved?
The thing is that, like, my first year, second year, third year, I did not really settle down per se, because by settling down, you mean that like becoming friends with Russians, right?
Yeah,
Or just, you mean
like
just
to
getting
integrate
used to the
into,
environment?
a new system and all of that. Moving from, okay, so all your life up till now, you've been in Nigeria, the same people
Yeah,
and all of that. So you're moving to another country, so it's a new terrain for you.
yeah,
So how were you able to settle
yeah.
down?
So the thing is that, like, the Nigerian community, especially in my city or in Russia in general, I don't know, people think that Nigerians are not in Russia. There are a lot of Nigerians and Africans in Russia. So thankfully for me, I already had like a cousin here that helped me to settle down. But also I went to church, a Nigerian church here in Russia, and in our Nigerian church we have a lot of Nigerians. So it's like I found my community here just because of I went to church. So it's the church that helped me actually to settle down, and my group mates, my classmates from university.
Wow, thank you so much for that information. Because, like, when you talk about Russia, what comes to the mind first is like, Russia, please avoid me. Do you get? So, knowing that there's even like, a Nigerian community and there's even a Nigerian church there. Wow, 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 wow. So, this is comforting.
Yeah, a lot of Nigerian churches. Yeah, a lot of Nigerian churches actually. Okay, not Nigerian per se,
African
African
churches.
churches, but mostly Nigerians. Yeah, like dominated by Africans, but mostly Nigerians.
But were you not scared at the time
Scared that
you are relocated to Russia?
I was never scared, because in Nigeria I was in boarding school, so I've always been used to leaving my family to go to school.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, so it was more of like, it was scary actually, because I was coming without my family, but not scary because I've always been away from my family from like GS1 to SS3.
thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing. So, what was the process like for getting
Yeah.
getting admission into the medical school? What's the requirement? What's the cost like?
While I was applying for the university, while I was applying to my university, it was me and my father that went to do the whole process. So we didn't use an agent. That's the first thing. So it was during my what's that word? It was during my WAEC, while we were writing exams in our boarding school. So I had to submit. I can't even remember now because it's been a long time actually. I had to submit what? Oh my God! We applied for the university through the website. Number one. Secondly, you need to translate all your documents that are in English to Russian. Thirdly, basically, you just have to apply and translate all the documents, go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, go to the Ministry of Education, get all the necessary things you need to study abroad, because the university will send them to you. So for all universities, or not all universities have the same requirements, basically, but the only requirement you need is that you must translate your English documents to Russian and notarize it at the notary. So that's the requirement. While the tuition cost, yeah. While the tuition cost for my university, starting off the first year is $6,600. That was the first year because he had some other things, the hostel fee and some other things. So that was the most fees I paid. Like that was in my first year. Well, after first year, I never lived in. Yeah. I did live in the hostel. So after first year, it was now $5,500
Wow.
throughout
That's very
for 6 years.
affordable. That's very,
Yeah,
very
it's very
affordable.
affordable.
What did you have to write any
Yeah.
exam?
No, when I got here, we wrote an exam for my university. Now, you don't have to write any exam from Nigeria, for my university at least. When you come here, then you now write like an entrance exam. So yeah, we wrote the exam and we got into the university.
So, like duration wise, like is it like some months, a year for the process of taking going through process of admission and then relocating? What's the duration like?
Uh, I, I can't say for sure because while I was in my process, I was still in SS3 writing my WAEC, right? I was almost finishing secondary
Okay,
school.
so you were doing.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
understand.
So it's after let's say I finished secondary school in June, I came to Russia in September, because it was during that period I was doing the process of coming to Russia. So it was more of like 5 months, thereabouts.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and congratulations. I just saw on your channel while I was watching that you got your PR. So
Yeah.
how were you able to get your PR and what was the process like and the requirements?
Okay, for the PR, I used the student visa route. So I don't know, it was just introduced like some years ago, like 3 years back or 2 years back. So the president of Russia has made it possible that if you're a student in Russia, you can apply for the permanent residence while you're studying. So for me, luckily for me, my course is 6 years. So I applied for my PR my 5th year in Russia. So yeah, it's basically like as I'm living here, I'm applying for the PR. So the requirement was that like I'm a student of the Russian Federation. Secondly, you have to graduate from a Russian institution. So I graduated from medical school because you have to show your results, the certificate that you graduated from university. And was the process. So the process was actually, I don't know, it was like, they sent me back a lot of times because I didn't get some documents right. So it was a back and forth type of process. So I don't remember this process like how it was, or was English to speak now. Well, like how do I say it now? Requirements. You have to be able to understand Russian because while you're there, right, you're going to be speaking to the officers. So they're going to ask you some series of questions. And for me, at least, being able to speak the Russian language helped me to be able to know what they were asking for. While I knew some other people that couldn't really speak Russian, so it was harder for them to get the process done. But if you want to get a PR as a student in Russia, you're already qualified. All you have to just do is graduate from the university. And that's the first requirement and the most important requirement.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's easy settling in Russia because some other European countries, after schooling, you have to go for like, okay, let's use the UK. You have to go for like the post-study route before you now start looking for someone to sponsor you and all of that. So I think it's more tedious. But in Russia, they've made it very easy for you to, integrate into the system. So you must like have graduated or still be in school and you can then apply. That's good. That's very attractive for a lot of people looking to relocate and staying back in their country that they've relocated to. Thank you so much for sharing. So tell us more about Russia, their history, the people, economy. Let's see Russia through your eyes.
Okay, so first of all, I want to say that I think Russia is the most, what's the word now? Is the most misunderstood, or the Russians are the most misunderstood people in my opinion. Russia is a very beautiful country, very beautiful country. As for their history, I don't really know much except one history, the World War II. That's the only history I know about Russia. But I don't really know much about the Russian history. But for the people, Russians are some of the best people you ever meet. In fact, it even surprises me. In my mind, I'm like, are these people, like, I used to be scared because why are they too nice to me, you understand? Because I expect them not to treat me the way they treat me. I expect them to treat me like, oh, this is this black guy. But they treat me like I'm their guy. They hug me, they shake me, they play with me. There's nothing like, oh, he's black. You understand what I'm saying? So the Russian people are some of...
Really?
Yeah. Russians are some of the best people ever, really. All the stereotypes we hear about Russians, oh, they're racist, they're angry, those things are just lies. In fact, Russians, there's another stereotype, they say that Russians don't smile at people, that if you smile at a Russian, they'll see you like a mad person. It's not true because even me, whenever I'm walking on the street sometimes, right, I see Russians look at me, I'm like, hey, they want to smile with me, they want to say hi. I'm like, you understand? Why are you trying to get my attention? So Russian people are very, very good people. Of course, every country has their bad people, but the stereotype that Russians have, they don't, it's not true. It's not true. Russians are not racist. Of course, every country has their own like level of racism, but I don't think Russians are racist. Or in my years of being here, I've only experienced racism maybe twice. And I don't know, just twice. Out of all my years of living here, if I was in America, for example, I can be racially profiled by the American police. You understand? Just for being a black guy.
Yeah.
So all these kind of things, I've never faced them here. And so yeah, the economy, the economy of Russia. I don't know. I don't really know. But from what I can see, actually, compared to America, because my younger brother is in America and my sister is in Canada, it's, let's say, it's the value for money. For example, what you get for $5,000 in America and what you get for $5,000 in Russia, you'll be way better in Russia than in America. So I can see that like the value for money is way better compared to other countries, like compared to America, Canada, UK, the popular Japa countries. And for the Russian,
I get you.
Yeah. So for the Russian culture, tradition, and the other things, I just feel like to be able to experience this one, actually, you have to have Russian friends. But I've never experienced the Russian culture that much, and I'm looking forward to experiencing that one day. So I can't really say much about that.
Thank you so much. So what's their currency? What do they spend?
The Russian rubles.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that information. So how has the history of Russia shaped its current identity?
Okay, if you remember, I mentioned that the World War II, right?
Yes.
So in Russia, actually, the World War II in Russia is a very like historic event that happened because according to Russians, every family lost somebody.
Wow.
Because like the World War II, basically, let me summarize it. This is when like this is when Germany surrendered and like you know what I'm saying. This is when Germany lost. So every family in Russia, every family, like grandfather, they have at least one family member that died. Maybe their uncle, their uncle, not auntie, their uncles or grandfathers. So in Russia on May 9th, you celebrate Victory Day. Victory Day is when the Russians got victory over the Nazi. That's the German soldiers. So everywhere, on Victory Day, that is celebrated on May 9th.
Okay.
So on this day, the whole country is locked down. Not like lockdown like war, locked down to celebrate the victory over Germany. Yeah, so every family takes it serious. Nobody is working that day. If you open your business on that day, they can almost like, you know what I'm saying? It's very serious because every family, at least of this our generation, lost somebody. So that's the most important holiday. Also, another thing I have noticed about Russia is that Russians, they preserve their history. If you go and look at a lot of Russia, like if you see the Russian metro in Moscow, or if you see Russia in general, there's a lot of monuments, historical monuments just everywhere. They preserve their history. They don't play with their history. And I don't really know why they preserve their history like this, but it's very beautiful to see. That's what I can see. But the most important history they have here in Russia is World War II.
Thank you so much for sharing. So what is the cost of living in Russia compared to that of Nigeria?
The cost of living in Russia depends on the city you're in, actually. So if you're in Moscow, because Moscow is the capital of Russia, Moscow has the highest, like, you know, like just like Lagos is the most expensive. So transport, every other thing is expensive in Moscow. But I live in Kursk. So Kursk is not like Moscow, like it's not like the capital. It's like a, let's say, village, but not a village. So like taxi here, okay, let me just say in a month, someone can survive in my city. You can survive with, let's say, 200,000 naira. Let's say like this, yes. You'll be able to live, in a month, If you're not, if you're not
inclusive of your utilities.
If you're not balling, Well, I don't know about now actually. Okay, because it's been a while I actually received money from home, but let's say 400,000 naira per month. Yeah, 400,000 naira per month would be good to live in my city. But if you're in Moscow, obviously you're going to need more than that. But also you don't have to need because but if you're working in Moscow, for example, the minimum wage is going to be able to sustain you. So I think basically I just think it's the same in Nigeria, just that they pay more salaries than Nigeria. You get?
Okay. So I get you. Thank you so much. So what is Russia famous and best known for? Okay,
they're known for Moscow, the Moscow Kremlin. I don't know if you've seen that before. Everybody that comes to Russia always, like the most popular site in Russia is the Kremlin. That is the office of the president or the house of the president, Putin. That's what I think they are most famous for. Every other thing is just racism, but they're not racist. So
I thought you were going to say vodka.
Vodka. Oh yeah. Oh my God. I'm sorry. No, I don't drink alcohol, so I don't know. But yeah, they're actually famous for vodka. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for sharing. All right. So, what is the work and study environment like for foreigners? And then, as a student, while you were schooling, are you allowed to work?
Oh, okay. So this one actually depends on the city you go to. But I can say I'm going to use my city because I'm in Kursk. I can't speak of
Okay.
Moscow, so I'm going to just use my city. So let me just say it for the first
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
So the study environment is actually very good in my opinion, but the work environment not so very good as student or for students, because as students you're only given a certain amount of time to work like per hour, or number of hours you can work in a day is limited.
Okay.
So you can't work like 8 hours per day because you have school, you have class. And also, since I went to medical university, right, everybody in my university were medical students. I don't know about other courses. As medical students, you have to dedicate your hours to study. Yeah,
You have to
yeah.
focus.
So it's hard. It's very hard, especially only if you want to fail your exams, you want to be failing classes, then you go and start working. But working now, official working or official job, sorry, it's very hard. It's very hard to get official jobs as a student because we don't have, like, usually students don't have the documents to do that. So that's why I always recommend to anybody that's coming to Russia to learn skills. I always say learn skills, because it's skills you'll be able to do, like the side hustles, like, like making hair, barbing hair, makeup, photography, videography. These are the skills that you don't need to officially be employed. Anybody can just ask you, can you do this for me? And you understand what I'm saying, you charge. So yeah, students are allowed to work, but you can only work after maybe fourth year if you're a medical student, because the truth is that the schedule will not allow you to work from first year to third year. It won't allow you unless you want to fail. But yeah, they're allowed to work.
For sharing. So after, now I know that you've graduated, you're now a doctor. What is the work environment
I don't work. Oh, I don't work as a doctor. I don't work as a doctor.
Mainstream. Yeah, I know you left. I know you left the medical life for tech, for media and tech. Yeah. So okay, so you don't work mainstream. You work for yourself.
I work for clients. I work for Russians. Yeah. Okay. So the work. Okay. Should I say based?
Yeah. So what's it like? Yeah. So what's it like? Work apart from, because now you're no longer a student. So what's the work system or environment like?
Okay. From my experience, actually, if you're good at what you're doing, Russians will hire you regardless of your skin color, regardless of your race. That's all I can say. So it's just that my field is very competitive. Like the amount of Russians that can do photography and videography, there are a lot. So you have to not be the best. So you have to not be the best black man, best guy to do it. So that's what makes me stand out, at least. So I mean, it's very conducive. It's very welcoming. There's no racism. There's no why is he getting the job and why is he getting paid the same amount you're paying. It's what's the word? Is it equality? Equality, right? Yeah, it's equal. There's no preferential treatments for Russians and non-preferential treatments for foreigners. It's good.
Oh, that's very good and kind of them, because I've heard, like, for other countries that they pay foreigners, or let's say Africans now in this case, lesser than they would pay their other counterparts.
The thing is that, but you also have to see that I don't work in corporate. So I think that's another factor, because I can't say much about corporate. I'm like a freelancer. I'm not working for only one person.
Yeah.
So if they need my service, I give them my price. If you cannot afford my price, then they go to the next person. Yeah.
Your price.
Yeah.
There you go. I get you. You. Thank you for that. So what is the official language in Russia?
In Russian, it's called Ruski Yazyk. Russian. It's Russian language. Yeah.
Ruski.
Ruski.
Okay. So can you speak the language?
I can speak, but not very good, but I can speak.
You can. So I'm going to put it to test. So you're going to say, hello, my name is XYZ. Welcome to Swaggerslifestyle. Kindly like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Hello, my name is Hello, my name is Iwan. Okay. So just I will say it. Should I say it line by line, or I should just say the whole thing?
Okay, it depends.
Okay, so hello, my name is Iwan. Is Привет, меня зовут Invan. Welcome to Swagger's Lifestyle. Is Dobro пожаловать на канал Swagger's Lifestyle. And kindly like, comment, and subscribe. Share and subscribe is пожалуйста, поставьте лайк, пишите комментарий, поделиться и подписаться. That is like, comment, share, and subscribe.
That's nice. Thank you so much for doing that. So please do as he says: like, comment, subscribe, and then share this video. All right. So are there any unique opportunities in Russia that you wouldn't have had in Nigeria?
Yeah, a lot. A lot. Okay, so yeah, the
Care
unique
to share?
opportunity is that like the thing about being a foreigner in Russia is that if you're a foreigner, always try to be the best. So when you're the best, it now makes it that like, okay, this is the best black person. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the unique thing because in Nigeria everybody's black, so there's no best. Like you understand what I'm saying? Everybody's just black together. But in Russia, yeah.
Yeah.
But in Russia, since I'm like the black person working with Russians, everybody is very easy to stand out. So that's the first opportunity. I don't think I would have been able to stand out like that in Nigeria. I don't know. I don't know. I just think so because it's a white dominated. You know what I'm saying? And secondly, the
Yes.
opportunities like I don't know, just the lifestyle. The lifestyle here is just different from Nigeria because when I think about the internet, how my life has become better. Because in Nigeria, for example, you pay how much for data, but here in Russia, how much you have to pay for data is not up to 10,000 naira, and it's for the whole month, unlimited. So
Wow.
yeah, a lot of
Wow.
opportunities I get here in Russia, I know I won't get in Nigeria, and yeah, it's a lot.
Thank you for sharing. As a Nigerian and a man, what is it like living in Russia? What do you love and what do you dislike, and how do they treat foreigners?
The things that they can't really
Yeah.
tell the difference between a Nigerian, Cameroonian, South African because they're all black together. So yeah, so they're all seen as black. So I mean, how will I say it now? I love living in Russia. I don't know for other people because whenever I talk to some people, they always tell me, oh, I hate Russia. Russia, they hate a lot of black people hate Russia. So whenever I come and be like that guy that said, oh my God, I love Russia so much, I'm always saying like, who's this crazy guy? But the main reason why I think a lot of people don't like Russia is because they can't speak the language, right? And if you can't speak the language, you will not understand a lot of things about Russians. For example, people think that Russians are racist because of their intonation, that they can say something to you and you think they're shouting at you, but it's just the intonation and the difference in culture. You understand? For example, let me just give an example. For example, in Nigeria or in Africa, whenever we're addressing an elder, we say Mr., Mrs. or something, or Sir or Ma. But in Russian, if I'm going to call my professor, I don't say Professor Ivan Ivanovich. I call him his full name, Ivan Ivanovich. That's how they address, like to address, yeah. So address an elder, you address him with the son name, the name, and the father's name, the full name, without any Mr., Mrs., nothing. So, yeah. So, I mean, I love Russia, and I can't really say much, but as a man, actually, I think boys have more, would I say advantages than the girls? No, not advantages per se, how would I say it now? Boys love Russia more than girls, basically, because, I don't know, because I've talked to some of my female friends in the past, they say that, oh, Russian guys, you know those things that guys do now, catcall them, all those things. So the experience for girls is very different from the experience for boys. So, so, I don't know, I don't know.
So you've not faced any stereotype as a Nigerian
No, I've not
in
faced
Russia?
any stereotype because most of the Russians that meet me, most of them, not all of them, I'm almost like the first Nigerian they meet. So instead, it's like it's them that they're introduced to the first black stereotype from me. So that's why I always try to like put my best, like you understand. So most of the Russians that have met me as a black person always think that okay, all black people are this, they are hardworking, for example, or some other things. So I've not really faced any stereotype. And also, a lot of the good Russians are scared to be racist. So they are very, very careful with me. So they don't want to offend me, you understand? So they are they're too careful.
I get you.
Yeah, they're too careful.
I get you. Okay. So what was your first impression when you arrived Russia?
My first impression. Oh my God, this place was smelling the first time I came. It was
Smelling of what?
It was smelling like cigarettes. It was actually smelling. It was nasty because you know in Nigeria, Nigerian air is very different from Russian air because everybody in Russia literally smokes. They don't see smoking like I say, oh, is it a sin or is it a bad thing? You understand? Because it's like their culture because of the weather. So when I got here, I was like, oh my God, what is this smell? It smelled so bad. It was bad. It was actually very bad. Not like trash can bad, but smoke bad. It was too bad. So that was my first impression. But other than that, when I was now driven around the city to the train station, it was just very beautiful. Like I was like, oh my God, what is this place? Because it was just the buildings. Like I'm like, how do they build this stuff? You see tall buildings, you see weird shaped buildings and stuff like that, just like Dubai. So it was just like mind blowing to see in Moscow.
Thank you for sharing. So what were the cultural shocks you experienced?
I can give maybe say three examples. Let me say three examples. So in Russia, first of all, you don't wear your shoes that you wear outside into people's houses. You understand? So that was a cultural shock because in Nigeria, I mean, they just wear your shoe upstairs, wear it to your room from outside. But here, if you're coming from the street, you take off your shoes at the entrance of the door and you come in your socks because Russians believe that outside is dirty and obviously outside is dirty. So that was the first cultural shock ever. Secondly, Russians don't wish people happy birthday in advance. So if you're a Russian and I tell you happy birthday in advance, they believe that it's bad. You don't wish Russians happy birthday in advance because it's seen as bad luck, like they will die or something. Then another cultural,
Wow.
another cultural shock that I experienced was flowers. In Russia, first of all, they give flowers for almost everything. But also, if I want to give someone that is alive flowers, I don't give them even number of flowers. So they use odd number of flowers to celebrate the living and even number of flowers to celebrate the dead. So, I was shocked because I was thinking that they just pick any number of flowers and just give somebody. But actually, if you ever count, I was also shocked when I learned for the first time.
But that's a valid information.
Those are the ones that stood out for me the most, actually, when I came here. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So what is their traditional staple food?
Okay, there's one soup, actually. There's one soup in Russian. It's a red soup. It's called borscht. It's red. So that's like a traditional staple food. I don't know. Maybe the Russians that will watch this video will come for me. But I think that's a traditional staple food. And then, which other one? They have, I think that's the main one. Every other one is not, I don't think it's traditional to only Russia. Like they have dumplings. It's called pelmeni in Russian. We have dumplings. We have borscht, red soup. And they have potatoes. So potato is not traditional to Russia. We have pancakes. Yeah, pancakes. But it's not traditional to Russia, not only because we eat pancakes everywhere.
Thank you for sharing. So which apps I must have to navigate living in Russia?
Right now in 2025, I would say number one, the map, the Yandex Maps, the map application, because even Russians don't know their country. Russians also use the map. So yeah, you need you need to use the map. Also, Google or Yandex Translate. And for me now in 2025, I'll say ChatGPT. Because, ChatGPT, AI.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing. So how do you balance maintaining your Nigerian heritage while adapting to Russian?
At this point, I think I'm Russian, no.
So you have distance. Wow. We feel hot
I can't cook any Nigerian food, so everything I eat now is either like just maybe gym food and Russian food. So I don't really have any Nigerian heritage except my language.
So you have dumped our heritage.
It's not my fault now.
Wow. So you're now Russian. No problem. That's fine. We understand. All right. So what Russian tradition or custom have you adapted or found interesting?
Well, that's one about leaving your shoes outside. I've adapted it because it actually makes sense. Because if you think about it, whenever someone if they go out, they step in mud, they step everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You now use that same shoe to work in the house.
Bringing it inside.
So that's the one I've adopted in my life now. And that's the only one, actually. That's the one that stands out the most for me.
So now we know that currently Russia is actually going through war. So how has it affected their economy?
Actually, the prices of things have gone higher. A lot of things, like normal food, like eggs, potatoes. They used to be cheaper like 3 years ago. Just basically the dollar rate. So as the dollar is increasing, it's affecting the Russian rubles. So the shops have to increase the prices of things. So, but in terms of the war, actually, people think that there's no food in Russia anymore because of the war and, like sanctions, they've blocked everything. But contrary to popular opinion, Russians have substitutes for everything. For example, KFC left Russia, McDonald's left Russia, but the substitutes of these companies have come to Russia. So there's nothing really missing in Russia due to the war. It's just the usual dollar fluctuation that's affecting the prices of things in the markets. But everything is still here. Everything.
Yeah, so even things that we see, all the images that we see online, we feel that Russia is not safe. So is Russia actually safe?
I'm living here
now.
I'm living here now.
Yeah, so
okay, so what I can say actually is that I think the news is actually over. What's the word? I don't know. I can't say. But I think yes. I think it's more. They're amplifying it more than it actually is. Because I live in Kursk, and Kursk is the place they're like, oh, Ukraine is close to Ukraine and stuff like that. So I don't know. Nothing has happened to us. Of course, we get these Russian soldiers always fly above our buildings every time to go and protect the borders and stuff. But nobody has ever come into the city to be like, oh, we're going to kill everybody here or something. So I just feel like the news is more amplified than what is actually happening. And don't believe the news. That's it.
don't believe the news.
Don't
Thank you
believe
for
this.
that. So,
Yeah.
do you think Russia is a good place for Nigerians looking to relocate?
Yeah, it's a good place, but I have to give you advice because don't just relocate to a non-English speaking country. It's a good place, but you have to come with skills under your belt. That's just the only advice. But it's a very, very good place because once you can get paid for your skill, you just be making money. You don't need, you understand? You have free internet, you have Wi-Fi, you have security. I didn't even mention I can go out at 1 a.m., 1 p.m. Nobody will come and harass me. There's no cultists. There's nobody that will steal my phone. Russians go on walks 4 a.m., 3 a.m. Yeah. Yeah, Russia is a very good place, in my opinion.
Thank you so much. So, what do you miss about Nigeria?
I miss my family and I miss the good food. Yeah,
I know, right?
yeah.
A lot of people miss food. That's been the popular one for us. Like, I
Yeah.
miss food. I miss Nigerian food. All right. So, what are the tourist attractions in Russia?
The main one actually is in Moscow, obviously the capital city, which is the Kremlin. That's the most popular one that everybody goes to. But Russia, the country itself, every city has tourist attraction sites. Like it's just mind blowing. It's like the whole country is a museum. Everywhere you go, there are things that you'll be like, oh my god, wow, wow. The other day we went to Nizhny Novgorod and I discovered that Nizhny Novgorod is the capital of sunsets. That means like the sunsets are so beautiful that like they're just beautiful to watch and the sun doesn't set until like 9 p.m. So at 8 p.m. it's already it's still bright. It's still bright outside. So every city just has its own unique structure, unique tourist attraction sites to it. But the main one is Moscow, Kremlin.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having this conversation with us. This has been a very insightful and illuminating conversation. Thank you so much for honoring our invite.
You're
So, the
welcome.
reason why we're doing this is because there's been a lot of stereotypes about Nigerians. Because when you hear the word Nigeria or Nigerians, people start rolling their eyes and all of that. So, we decided to do this series to showcase different Nigerians living in different countries of the world and to show you that we have good Nigerians, we have good ambassador of the country, and they're actually doing great and lifting our flag high where they are. And so if you're in Nigeria, living out of Nigeria, and you want to share your experience with us, you can reach us on swaggerslifestyle@gmail.com. We would love to have this conversation with you. And this is us telling you, Nigerians living outside of Nigeria, please keep being good ambassadors for your country. And those ones that are the bad eggs, please turn a new leaf and start doing good and legal businesses and start living right, because Nigeria belongs to us and we have to sell it right. So, Iwan, in conclusion, what will be your advice to anyone that wants to relocate to Russia?
Well, I've gotten asked this question a lot of times, and I always have only three pieces of advice for these people or anybody. Number one, learn a skill. Number two, learn the language. And number three, don't get stuck in the foreigner bubble. Can I explain what the foreigner bubble is?
Yes.
So the foreigner bubble is just basically you going to your country in another country. Because I noticed in my time living in Russia that a lot of Nigerians will come to Russia and they only want to hang out with Nigerians. They will go to America, they only want to stay with American community. When you get stuck in that place, you're not going to explore the country, you're not going to experience the country, you're not going to get the best out of the country. So if you're going to any country, it doesn't have to be Russia. Don't get stuck in the foreigner bubble. And these are the only three pieces of advice I give anybody that wants to come to Russia.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on your channel.
Know that the word vodka comes from voda, which in Russia means water. The red square is the most iconic national symbol of Russia and has been the stage to countless prominent events in Russian history, boasting of over 3 million artifacts ranging from oriental treasures to prized fine paintings. The Hermitage is one of the world's most prestigious museums. Till I come your way next time. This is Gbogbo Swagger and this is Swagger's Lifestyle. Do not forget to stay true to yourself. Bye and see you in the next one.
Swag, swag.